Shabbat Shalom. Back in the fall, before October 7th, we went to watch the movie Golda, just a few days before October 7th, and about Golda during the Yom Kippur War. And there is all the parts of the movie where Golda Meir and her decision process is examined, and she didn't always turn to the best advisors, and that was part of why she failed to prepare the country for the war. But really, most of the movie was about Golda and how much she gave to the country, and the fact that she gave so much for the country and the people she loved. And throughout the movie, nobody knows how gravely ill she was. This is true to history, and that she had cancer and was going through radiation treatment in the middle of the war, and she was smoking cigarettes endlessly. And you could just see the toll on her was so profound. But as everybody who knows Golda Meir read her story, Golda was someone who gave everything for the people she loved, her very life. And we know she had no personal life, but at the end of this, she really didn't have much except for giving all for the state. On the other hand, when you actually see the actual footage of Golda Meir, you see how full of life she is. She got something in return for all that giving back. She was so full of life and charm. She gave everything, but she also got everything. So our parsha this week, Mishpatim, is really about justice. It's about equity. It's about all of our laws that teach us how to live good lives. And right after the 10 Commandments, what does God do? God reveals the Mishpatim, all the other laws, the ways of how we take the 10 principles and turn them into life. And these, Rashi says, are equally as important as the 10 Commandments from Sinai. And so there's, do not mistreat the orphan, do not mistreat the widow, the stranger. When an ox gores a human being, what do? What happens if an ox has a habit of goring a human being? How is it different? In business, proper weights have to be used, observing holidays, all the different aspects of life. And for its time, 3,500 years ago, really a very enlightened way of going about being a human being. And it's a foundation for what the philosophers later call the golden mean. What does the golden mean? The golden mean is you live a life of balance and of harmony. Not too much on one side, not too much on the other. But in that balance and harmony is where you find well-being, where everything good comes to you. A basic idea of Maimonides and the Greek philosophers. And really Judaism does that in this very foundation in the Torah. Balances communal needs, personal needs, just the needs of ordinary human beings to go about their lives. And doing that your best to live with as high morals as you can. And that's the basis of it. But then there's one law which I've always found to be a little bit strange. And it's the very first law at the beginning of the whole parsha. And it's the law of the Hebrew slave. Because back then, right, if you became indebted to another Israelite, you could get into the situation where you would be enslaved to them. And the Torah makes provision that at the end of the 7th year, every slave was allowed to go free, no matter how indebted they were. But then it adds this other bit, that if the servant says, I do not want to be free, but rather I love my master, then he could stay servant and become a servant forever, that he might choose that. And then he would come with the master, put his ear on the mezuzah, and they pierce his ear. Strange law. But I've always understood it maybe as a metaphor, that it's speaking to those who make it their passion, their whole lives to serve our community and our people. Because they love their people, they love the master, and they're drawn to the task. And most of us, we just live in the balance of everything. We have different periods of our life. Sometimes we give a lot, sometimes we're not able to. Usually we're set free after a while. The Torah makes provision for those who actually want to give their whole lives to it. And they become servants forever. They love and they give, and their ears are, so to speak, pierced on the mezuzah of the gates of heaven. Those like Golda Meir, but also so many of our people, Eli Wiesel, think now of the soldiers in Israel, They give everything, and they serve our master, they serve our people, but also in return, they get something. They get a measure of spirit, of love, disproportionate to what they give. And they carry more than we can imagine. But with their love, they also try and bring peace, justice, and joy to everyone else. Shabbat Shalom.